Hi everyone. I want to get you all up to date on what's going on at St. John's, but first I'm going to cover kind of where we've been. So I'll start out with the organization, and as most of you know, I sent out an org chart in January, and there was some organizational changes that included consolidating all the client success programming, where integrated health and client services, now intervention services, and then children's programming and family advocacy all fall into one department. Another change was a focus on adding Red Door Desserts as a primary focus for our employment training. And then we also closed First Steps. So those were kind of the organizational changes that we had this year. And as far as the finances go, we did really well in fiscal year 2021. We have about a $6.4 million yearly budget. We were able to make some income. That means we made more than we spent last year, and we were able to put some funds into reserve as a safety net. And we had about 95 clients per night, women and children in the program. And then we had a staff head count of about 85 staff members all in all. So it was a good year. We did really well. And those are the finances. And then as for the data, what I did is I kind of looked at a 5-year history of the data just to see where are we going, what have we done. And when I looked at all of the data, what I found was, gosh, we probably need a program overview and to see, where are we successful, what things should we stop doing, and where do we go next? So that's when we hired Innovation Bridge to come in and give us some thoughts about how we should do things. So when Innovation Bridge came in, they did some really good work. They designed an evaluation assessment for St. John's, and that assessment included observational visit, which they did on site with some of our team members here. They did interviews with program staff. They did a client listening session where they asked questions of our clients. They did a survey, staff survey, which was a lot of people participated in that. And then they also did a document review. So what did they find in all of this? The findings were really, really important, and I want to share those with you. So they framed things as a grow or glow. So meaning if there was a glow, it was something really good, and if there's a grow, it's an area we might consider. So when they did the staff interviews, what they had found out in terms of the glows was that staff here, our team here, is really mission driven, and we have a connection to the mission. And we really believe in what we're doing and the opportunity to define, shared experiences and understanding of success with our clients. And one of the quotes that came out of it was, "I feel like it's a very personal connection for people to work here." They also had some grows, opportunities to grow during, and what they found from the staff interview. For example, one thing was, we need to enhance interdepartmental coordination for improved integrated services of the wraparound services that we provide, and better communication around those. And then also we should address the climate and culture of some of the specific practices so we can be more culturally responsive and more trauma responsive. And one of the quotes that came out of that is, "I want more ways to do my job better and provide support to the clients." So that was the grows. When they did a document review, there was a lot of things they found out in our documents. So our documents, we got a lot of them. There's a lot of information in all of them. But some of the documents are outdated. Some of them don't, they're in conflict with each other. So there's a lot to learn with our documents. So we'll be continuing updating documents and have a reflection of what we're doing. And I think standardization across St. John's is really important so that we're all doing things consistently the same. So those were the grows in the document review. And then they also did like a quality assurance, and this is the observational visit, and they looked in all different areas. And so what did they find when they did the observational visit? Well, they found that the area of a glow is that they found overall alignment of the program services and offerings do align with the mission and vision very well. And there's a high level of engagement, particularly at plates. So that was a real strong and exciting thing that came out of it. And then the areas of growth included facilities improvements, making sure our program space are clean and tidy and neat, making sure that we have relevancy and responsiveness in all of our programming, special support programming focused on children, and then most notably was safety, making sure that we had a safe environment. So those are the areas where we should grow. When they did a staff survey, there were really important findings in the staff survey, and I really thank all of you who participated in the staff survey, because it's our opportunity as an organization to learn from you and to hear things that we won't normally hear. So one of the things that staff said over and over is that professional development is really needed and needs to be ongoing so that we can keep delivering the same program services. Another thing that came out of the staff survey is that there needs to be better communication between departments. So that kept coming up as well. And there's a lot more findings that your managers can share with you from this that came out of the staff survey. Really important things to learn from that. One of the quotes that came out of the staff survey was, "I believe St. John's is a safe haven for women in need, and it's present for underserved women in this city when they need safety and shelter the most." So that was one of the good quotes that came from the survey. Now, our women were asked also many, many questions like, if I ruled the world, or something I love at St. John's, what are my dreams for the future? Out of that, something I love, what came up the most was expressed appreciation for the safety and stability for women and children in the program and the opportunities offered for a second chance. So that's something that our women really loved. And dreams for the future were aspirations for the children of St. John's to be and feel loved. Safety, health, healing, and wellness and prosperity. And then they said, a problem I see was facility maintenance concerns, particularly related to childcare services, and then a lack of consistency and accountability. So those are some of the things that came up with our clients. I'm sure none of this is new to anybody who worked very closely with the clients. We do get a lot of feedback from our clients. So one of the quotes that came out of that was, "I have a chance to get my kids back with the help of St. John's." And as we all know, that's a really personal and exciting time for the women in the program. So finally, they gave us some recommendations, and the recommendations included collect data and use it better to determine how you're going to do things in the future. So use the data as evidence on where you're doing well and where you might need improvements. Make sure you have training and preparedness around trauma-informed practices for everybody in the organization. Making sure we have organizational capacity. So that's the continual learning and a structure to allow for that, whether it's through our documents and having updated documents, or it's on-the-job training or peer-to-peer training. There's this potential for organizational capacity for us all to do, help each other do better. Safety came up again and again, making sure it's a safe place, that it's safe socially and emotionally, it's safe from a cultural responsiveness perspective, it's also just physical safety. Make sure you're relevant and responsive to the women in need, so determine processes for regularly revisiting the programming and seeing how effective it is. And then finally, increasing agency of the women that are in the program. So making sure that women are heard, we integrate leadership roles among the women, and that they have some autonomy in choosing what's best for them. And then finally, there was an overall theme of our children's programming, a much need for adding more developmental opportunities. At the time they came, I think we were really low on staff. So there was obviously an observation that we need to have more staffing, which we do have now. So that's wonderful. And so anyway, those were the recommendations. Now, what they asked us to do was to reflect, right? What things do we want to amplify, which means do better and do more of? Where do we want to innovate? And that is create something new. And then what do we want to interrupt? And so what do we want to change? What do we want to stop doing? So those were the findings from Innovation Bridge. Okay, so where are we going? So we're only going to do 3 things. We're going to increase our program clarity, right? And we'll do that with some training. We're going to be using things like restorative practices. We're going to be really timely about how we respond. And we're going to be consistent across all departments and every person who's doing it. So we're all doing things similarly and the same. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to focus on employment training. So we're going to build up Red Door Desserts. And we're going to shift using the words vocational training to employment training. And then finally, we're going to focus on safety. So making sure we have facility maintenance and really enhancing the property. So those are the three things that we're going to do. And so how are we going to focus on this? So we have one team and one goal and one St. John's. So I want you to think about St. John's as we're all one community. The women and the staff and the children, we're all one, and we're all in this together. And we're going to focus like one team. And so we're going to support the women, and we're going to support the children, and we're going to support them as a family, and then we're also going to support each other. As one St. John's. And so what are the next steps? So your managers will be communicating some of this to you, and they'll be giving you more information. And so if you don't know something, or you can't figure something out, or you have more questions, make sure you get clarity from your manager. And then I want you to ask yourself, like, can we do this? And how can we do this? And we should be really solution-minded, okay? Because we don't know what works and we don't know what doesn't work. So I want you to have an open mind. And then what are we going to do next? What am I going to do next? So I'm going to send out another survey based on the team building we did last year. So I'm going to ask you to see how we're doing as an organization and how you think you're doing as a team member. And then we're going to have some more professional development days coming up. And then we're going to make sure that we integrate training so that everybody feels like they're learning more and more, and so you can feel successful in your jobs. So that's what's going on at St. John's. I hope that answers some of your questions. If you have more questions, please feel free to email me or talk to one of your managers. Thank you so much for all you do for the women and children at St. John's. It is my pleasure to be the CEO here.